Thanks for joining us. I'm Cassidy Delamarter. I'm Cassidy Delamarter. And I'm Cassidy Delamarter. We're keeping an eye on the Milepost 97 fire in Canyonville, and they're waiting on the results of the autopsy to release information on the tree fire and community fire in the Klamath National Forest. We have team coverage for you tonight, but first, this is 234 right here behind me, and in the last hour that I've been here, I've seen so many different trailers go by heading towards that fire. This is the area that Caltrans asked ODOT to shut down the road at late last night around 10 when road conditions up ahead towards California were getting dangerous. And as you can see, I'm the only one here. I drove out to this location to give you a better idea of just how big their property has become. Now, if I spin the camera with me as I walk, where I'm standing right now is actually an empty parking lot. In fact, they even have it blocked off so it can't even be used for parking. Now, the only thing separating these buses from a field full of hemp is this chain link fence. This shooting happened 16 hours ago, but as you can see behind me, this is still an active scene like this. Live in Medford, in Grants Pass, in Ashland. I don't know where I am, guys, anymore. I'm at the East Evans fire somewhere. I don't know where there's signal. Cassidy Delamarter, Newswatch 12. Cassidy Delamarter, Newswatch 12. Right now, roads are clear along I-5 and chains aren't required either, giving drivers a chance to make up for lost time, especially after last night.
And then they closed the highway, so nothing I could do.
Ken Smith got stuck in Oregon overnight, heading back home to Fresno from Washington.
It's gonna be later getting home.
And he was delayed even more today.
Put all my chains on, drove 5 miles on dry pavement. Time to take them off. They lifted the chain control 10 minutes after I got going.
Although time-consuming and sometimes a hassle, ODOT says chains are what make a difference during times like this.
If we're stuck on the freeway and it is continuing to snow, we want people to be able to chain up and get going. If people are locked in and the snow continues to fall and they can't get moving, then the plows can't work.
Which is exactly what happened in Northern California last night.
Many of them, no doubt, spent the night out on the interstate. They didn't have chains, they couldn't get going. This is why we say, please carry your chains, be ready to get out of a situation.
Road conditions are good in Oregon for now, and Caltrans is working on cleaning up the roadways in Northern California. All that's left to do right now?
Get in the truck and head for home.
To make it in time for Thanksgiving dinner. And ODOT says that even though you aren't required to have those chains on your car right now, you should still have them with you, and you should also have an emergency kit as well, especially if you're heading south to California. You might need it then, and you might need it on your way back home this weekend. Live in Ashland, Cassidy Delamarter, Newswatch 12. Today is a day the family of Dale Ross has waited for since 1943, when he was first reported MIA. His remains weren't found until 2017 by a little boy, and the family actually flew that little boy to America for today's ceremony as a thank you.
Are you happy? Did you ever think you would come to America?
Yes.
Okay, good.
William Davis was only 8 years old when he found Dale Ross's dog tags. In April, I told you the story of how Davis found them.
This real steep canyon down to a waterfall where they went swimming. And they just over time, they beat that path down, and one day they found something shiny and found the dog tags.
Today, Davis told me the story himself.
Can I look down, pick up and say, leave, can go give your dad.
He ran to grab his dad to show him where he found the tag and medal.
So he got his own replica set.
Today, friends and family of Ross finally got to meet Davis, and they say they couldn't be more thankful for him.
You think about all the other MIA families who will never have this, thousands of them. So, you know, we're lucky to have this.
All of Ross's nieces and nephews described the day with one word.
Best word is closure.
It kind of hits you, you know. It's like his sacrifice, what more can you do? I'm sure everybody's got relatives they're proud of, you know, and couldn't be prouder of him.
Bill Welch knew Ross and his parents. He says he knows Ross's parents are smiling somewhere right now, knowing their son is finally home.
And this family is really blessed that his remains were found.
During World War II, all 4 Ross brothers served in the military. And today is the first day that they're all back together again. In Medford, Cassidy Delamarter, Newswatch 12. This project first started way back in the 90s, and this weekend is actually the final phase. Some of the crew working here today were actually here more than 25 years ago when it first started.
Got a lot of folks out here to make sure the burn turns out the way we want and it doesn't get out of control on us.
Judd Lehman says this burn will make the area less susceptible to severe wildfires for the next 15 years.
Our main intent is reducing the fire risk.
This burn has been a long time coming. The crew told me they're happy to be a part of such a large project, especially the final stages of it.
Done a lot of work to prep for this, so it feels really good to see this happen.
From prepping the roads, making control lines, and even having archaeological surveys done to make sure they weren't disturbing any historic grounds. One fire engine operator says he's been working on this project for the last 5 years.
It's a good feeling knowing all the work we put into this, and I know for my guys, they put a lot of hard work into this, and for them to see this get burnt, it's a very good feeling, very exciting.
More than 70 people are working on this burn from the ground and even the sky.
In the future, we'd like to do this next to the town of Chilliqua, next to some other communities, to really help reduce that risk of future fires threatening communities, houses, and it's this type of work that we can get in front of that and be proactive.
As this decades-long project finally comes to a close, all that's left to do after this weekend is simple.
So we'll have a couple weeks of just monitoring this, that it doesn't get out of our lines and you know, make it run outside of anything that we have control over.
The Forest Service picked this weekend for the final phase of this project because of the wind patterns. So if you're at home and you're worried you might see some smoke this weekend, you should be in the clear. The wind is pulling this smoke northeast. You can see it blowing right now. So anybody in the Rogue Valley or the Klamath Basin, you shouldn't have to worry. In Chamol, Cassidy Delamarter, Newswatch 12.